Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and a really tragic blow for Zohran Mamdani at the worst possible time for him as early voting begins. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. Zohran Mamdani really stepped in it, man. You know, Governor Cuomo went on a radio show. And the person on the radio show, the host, said that they believed that Zohran would actually cheer on another 9/11. And Cuomo laughed instead of, saying, hey, man, that's not right or whatever. But then Zohran went and made it worse for himself. He took the story of 9/11. If you're old enough to remember 9/11 like I am, vividly, living right here, the story is about thousands of Americans being killed, thousands of families destroyed, an attack on America. But to Zohran Mamdani, the real victim of 9/11 was his aunt, who couldn't ride the subway with her hijab because people would give her dirty looks. That was the real victim of 9/11. And then, during this, Zohran doesn't even say, hey, how dare you say I would cheer on 9/11? I would never do that. He never even denies it. Now, I'm not saying he would, but I'm saying he should have probably denied that. That should have been step one. The whole thing is weird, and I think this is really going to hurt him, in this election. I want you to watch this and let me know what you think in the comments.
I should note that today, Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader in the House, did actually, after a long time, endorse Mamdani, saying Mamdani has relentlessly focused on addressing the affordability crisis and explicitly committed to being a mayor for all New Yorkers, including those who don't support his candidacy. In that spirit, I support him and the entire citywide Democratic ticket in the general election. Mamdani, despite the criticism from Cuomo, is still polling with about 30% of Jewish voters in the city. So there is a bit of a split happening here. It's clearly not a universal view that he can't gain the support of some Jewish voters, although a majority are with Cuomo.
Yeah, and there are very liberal Jewish voters in New York City, that's for sure. Look, I think that Cuomo's best vector is the experience vector. But it is true, Mamdani, he's allied himself with certain people, a lot of the people that surround him, the people involved in this Democratic Socialist organization. I mean, they have said more than a handful of eyebrow-raising things when it comes to their views of America, their views of Jewish people, and so on and so forth. He knows that. He does align himself with them. He doesn't really distance himself. Today he has this press conference. I watched a chunk of it. I didn't hear any words for the victims of 9/11, but he found the real victim, his aunt.
Is he?
The victims of 9/11 were in the Twin Towers. Those were the victims.
Is the implication here that he has to answer for the terrorists who attacked 9/11?
No, I think if you're going to run for mayor of New York City, or have any position in New York City, and you're going to talk about 9/11 or invoke 9/11, you darn sure better start with the people who died in the Twin Towers. That's what I think. And he didn't do that, and he kind of, he made it about his experience and his aunt and all this. My advice would be, if you're going to want to be the mayor of this town, and by the way, he's probably going to win, that moment in our history, you cannot lose sight of what happened. People died in those Twin Towers. They did not deserve to die. We did suffer a terrorist attack, and we can't really forget the moment, making it about him and his family. Okay, there were almost 3,000 people that died there. It's a big deal.
Yeah, but he was just, I understand him trying to personalize it, but we also pick and choose when we want to take the allegiances that people have.